She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Did you know that there's some magic words that can unlock a vast amount of treasure for you? Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. We're really blessed that you decided to join us today. Today we're going to talk about, yes, these magical words that you know. They're very common. You might have been taught these words by your mother, grandmother, a teacher, a mentor in your life. They are so common, yet so rarely used in today's world. I know right now you're probably like, what are they? Oh, friend. In fact, I can tell you that I have seen these words used much less in today's world than in years past. And I think it has something to do with why so many people perhaps are on antidepressants. Gosh, it's a huge number of people. It's the number one drug prescribed in the United States of America alone. I mean, that is a sad statistic. It's a reality. And I think that these two beautiful words can make a huge difference in people's attitudes. It makes a difference in how you get promoted at work. It really makes a big difference as to whether or not you get repeat business and referrals. It is something so simple, so elementary that a kindergartner could grasp it, use it, and build a great life pillar on. Like, meaning this is a part of your character that actually positions you for really great blessings. And yet, we don't use these words. You know, I read this quote that I thought was really profound. It's by William Arthur Ward, who I don't know who that is. But he said, God gave you a gift of 86,400 seconds today. Have you used one to say thank you? We have 86,000 seconds every day. And do we use one of those seconds to say thank you? You're like, Dani, really? That's the magical words? Yeah, it is. Those words have great power. They actually position you for greatness. It actually positions your mind to even think more positively, and we reap what we sow. You see, oftentimes we are a people that want to be thanked for a job well done. However, we're not quick to thank others. And saying thank you shows appreciation. It shows gratitude. It communicates something more than just the two words themselves. And I have to tell you that there was a part of my life, and to be honest with you, I know that from time to time I'm still in this place in my life. I've gotten so much better. I'm not exactly perfect at this just yet. But in my early days of marriage, not only did I not say thank you, I was so ungrateful of everything concerning my husband. Not only did I not appreciate him, but I nagged him in an evil way. I put him down. I criticized him, constantly condemning him as a man. I never noticed anything good that he did. I chose to see everything that I hated in him. And the more I focused on what I didn't like, the more those things grew. And then if there was anything good that he did that I was totally blind to see, well, less of those good things that he did. It was no small wonder that he was working 5 days a week, 6 days a week, and working out 5 nights a week and coming home around midnight. He did everything he possibly could to avoid me. And I mean everything. He didn't want to be in the same bed with me, and I thought it was his fault. But the reality was, I was the one pushing this man that I exchanged vows with, this man that I had a child with, this man that I said until death do us part with, and yet I never encouraged him, I never appreciated him, and I never said thank you. Something so simple, something so trivial. But if you were to take that phrase and you were to insert it throughout your days as a person in relationships with other people, and that includes the people you work for or with every day, the clients, the prospects that are prospective customers maybe, the people that serve you or that you are serving, the bank teller, saying thank you and appreciating people and having an attitude of thanksgiving, thankfulness. This seems to be something that has just completely gone out of style. And it causes you, if you're not someone that's grateful and you don't carry that spirit of thankfulness, your mind will gravitate to ungratefulness. And ungratefulness is a very negative attitude. Have you encountered people that are ungrateful? Come on, tell me. 844-200-3264. That's 844-200-3264. Tell me right now, have you ever encountered people that are ungrateful? What does it make you do when you encounter people that are ungrateful? How does it make you feel about that person? Do you find that person really negative? Does it make you want to promote that person? Does it make you want to appreciate that person? Does it make you want to work with that person, let alone sleep with that person? Meaning if you're married to that person and that person is totally ungrateful and is blind to anything good that you are doing? Let me ask you this. As a child, as a kid, were your parents thankful, grateful? Did they encourage the good things that you were doing, or did they always focus on the bad mistakes that you were making? What did that produce in you as an adult? How did that make you feel? Was it something that, motivated you to do better? Out of a heart of, wow, I love my parents so much that I want to do better for them? Or did it just make you feel like you could never do good enough? Thankfulness, I'm telling you right now, friend, because it is so rarely utilized in today's world, but yet something so desperately longed for, if you make this a part of your life, guess what? You will be very, very, very attractive to everybody that's around you. You'll be the one that does get promoted in the job when nobody else does. You will be that person that ends up with an incredibly harmonious, beautifully peaceful, wonderfully sexual marriage. You'll be that person whose kids actually like to be around you. When I look at the times in my life where I have had a lot of stress, a lot of pain, and if I look truly objectively and honestly, not trying to defend myself and prove everything that I've done right in this situation, but really looking to say, what could I have improved? I promise you, this one right here is it. Yes, these two magical words, thank you. This magical mindset of gratitude, this beautiful positioning of seeing the good in all situations. When I've let go of that, do you know what climbs in my mouth? Complaining. Complaining climbs in my mouth. What about you? 844-200-3264. How does it feel to have people be grateful around you? Work that you're doing. You're putting everything into everything you do, and you go either noticed or unnoticed. How does that make you feel? What drives you to do better? Is it somebody's lack of gratitude, or is it somebody's gratitude? I want you to share with me. What does that look like in your life? And have you been like me, where you started to destroy some relationships because you constantly complain? Because literally, this is how it goes. Either you have a heart of gratitude and thanksgiving, Either you have a heart that is, you're very aware of the fact that people don't have to treat you right. You're very aware that you don't deserve anything, and that when somebody simply shows you some kindness, that it's like it's a choice they have to show you kindness, that it's not entitled to you for people to be kind to you. So therefore, you know that, like you are that human that has a real understanding that you don't deserve squat and you're not entitled to anything. And so when people show kindness, it just bursts out of you how grateful you are. I can tell you, out of all the years that I've been studying successful millionaires, because I'd heard somebody tell me 27 years ago as I was in a big crowd of people, all learning from the same millionaire, he said to study successful people if you want to be successful. He said, if you want to be a millionaire, you're not going to learn from a janitor that is broke. If you want to be financially independent, you have to learn from people who are financially independent. At the time, that was my goal. And so I started to study people as well as study successful people. And can I tell you, out of all of the millionaires that I've interviewed, that I've learned from, that I've had the chance to meet, talk to, pick their brain, whether it was at lunch or just, on an airplane. It's amazing the people that you meet, even on an airplane sitting in coach, by the way. Do you know that every single one of those successful people all had an attitude of gratitude? We're like, of course they have an attitude of gratitude, Dani. They're making tons of money. No. No, this is an actual character trait that they developed, and that's how they ended up with all that money. Do you understand? They ended up with that money because they had the attitude that drove them to that money. It's a reward. It's a blessing. And kindness is going to be blessed. Gratefulness is going to be blessed. But someone that is not kind and someone that is ungrateful, the thing that slips into your mouth is that you have a poor attitude about people. Ungrateful will result in complaining. And no one likes to be around complainers. Okay, complainers, if they continue in that path, you become very condemning and very cynical. Have you ever had somebody in your life that was a complainer, a whiner, and cynical and judgmental? Have you? How did it make you feel? Did it make you want to be in relationship with them? Did it make you want to perform better for them? 844-200-3264. Again, that's 844-200-3264. Here's what I want. I want today on the Dani Johnson Show that we all get the chance to learn from other people's mistakes. That we also get the chance to hear the positive things that come out from your own story, your own experience, as you call in to share those experiences, that it gives the rest of us a chance to learn from that and make wise choices moving forward. Because we know we are somewhere in the middle, and we need to be motivated to move in the right direction. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
The Dani Johnson Show, helping people just like you make life more enjoyable and rewarding. The Dani Johnson Show.
Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what families are dealing with in the poverty-stricken village of Santa Pancha, Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic food, water, and housing needs. We are transforming that village. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation to Santa Pancha. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org. Hi, this is Dani Johnson. Whether you work from home or run a corporation, you need a strategy to get you from where you are now to where you want to be. It's especially true in marketing. I've seen so many companies dump so much money into promoting their products, but without a strategy, most of the money just goes right down the toilet. That's why I've been telling people about Vast Solutions.
They've put together a team of some of the best minds in web design, social media, SEO, online and offline marketing, as well as advertising. Together, they will help your company build a comprehensive marketing strategy that not only covers all the bases, but is tailored to your unique needs. Quit throwing money at your marketing. Contact Vast Solutions at 312-330-5105 and start building a real marketing strategy that works. That's 312-330-5105 or visit 3eincrease.com. Again, that's 3, the letter E, increase.com.
Now, more of the Dani Johnson Show.
Dani, I just don't know how to get ahead. I don't know what's wrong. I just can't seem to move my life forward. I have heard that so many thousands of times from people. And do you know that generally that statement is coming from a heart that is thankless? It is. You see, somebody that has, for example, such a high standard that if they don't reach that standard or other people don't perform at that standard, what ends up happening is that they never thank anybody. They don't have an attitude of gratitude, which we've heard so many times. They don't have this attitude of gratitude. And do you know what opens the vault, I believe, up in heaven for blessing is gratitude, thanksgiving. Yes, these things open up. It's the combination on the outside of the vault. It opens up blessing over your life when you are grateful, when you are thankful. But when we continuously focus on the things that are not going right, that are pathetic, it's not going fast enough, well then, my friend, all you're going to have is more of what isn't going right. So I want you to share with me how gratitude has made an impact in your life. How has that improved your financial situation or your work situation? You know, I tell our clients all the time to write thank you cards, handwrite thank you. Well, can't I send a thank you email? That's much faster and so much easier, Dani. This isn't about what's faster and easier for you. Come on, let me ask you something. Do you like being inundated with email? I don't. I hate email. And I don't actually give out my email address because I don't want more people piling more junk in my email box. Email is a burden to the vast majority of us. 99.9% of us feel that email is a burden. So why in the world would you want to send somebody another portion of burden? But what does get read? A handwritten card. Yes. How long does it take? Moments. It takes moments. It sets you apart. It makes someone feel positive about you because of how positively you encourage the other person by saying thank you and showing gratitude. So when you dish out gratitude to others, it comes back to you. So if you're not getting ahead, look at this one thing. How grateful are you for the food that is on your table? You know, one of the things that I pray anytime I get the chance to bless the food at night, we kind of all take turns. But I've come to this revelation. You know, typically a prayer, at dinner, sounds something like, thank you for this food and thank you for the hands and bless the hands that prepared it. Never even looking at how many hands did it take to prepare it, right? How many hands? Not just my hands to prepare it. Hello? No. So I go through this whole thing and I'm telling you, being grateful and having gratitude humbles you. And if you're humble, you are going to be exalted. That's exactly what the best success book that has ever been written says. It says that the humble, he will exalt, but the proud are going to be pushed down low. So here's my prayer when I pray over the food with my family. And here's what it is. Thank you, God, for every single farmer, the seed growers, the ones who provide the manure, the nutrients that get put back in the soil. Thank you, Lord, for the landowners. Thank you for every single trucker that transported the food. Thank you for the store. Thank you for HEB where I bought the food and have made the food available for me at a really good economical price. Thank you, Lord, for all the hands that touched the produce. Thank you for all the people that created a product that I am actually buying. Thank you, Lord, for blessing their businesses and keeping them in business. Thank you, God, God for the ones who actually work at the grocery store. Thank you for those who supply the gasoline to get the food to the grocery store and for me to get in the car to go. Thank you, Lord, even for the car that I'm driving that allows me to go and purchase this stuff. Thank you, Lord, for every single hand. And thank you most of all, you helped the earth to rain so that and you brought the sun. You taught the people how to be able to grow these things. Thank you for every single person that was involved to just bring this one plate of food to our house. Hello. Look at how quickly we're just like, thank you, God, for the food. Let it be nourishing to our body. Bless the hands that prepared it. Like a begrudging prayer. Like, do you realize how many people were involved to produce the food? And look, I gotta tell you, it's a confession. There are so many, probably thousands of times, where I have felt so taken advantage of by my family. It cooked for 6 hours to make this Mexican meal all from scratch, and they just say, thank you? Oh, how many thousands of hours did it take everybody else to be able to put that food on that table? Oy, oy, oy. Pathetic. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
Don't just stand there. Soak this up. It's joy, it's encouragement, it's insight to a better life and how to meet your obligations and overcome obstacles. The Dani Johnson Show. This is The Dani Johnson Show.
I just heard this amazing story. One of our clients had written us telling us that they had used job domination and unlimited success and has absolutely exploded their career. He said, Dani, I don't know where I'd be today without job domination and unlimited success. Listen, do you want more recognition from your coworkers? Do you want to be recommended to people all over the world? Do you want to be somebody that is highly sought after? Listen, if you're in a dead-end place where this gentleman found himself, but then learned new strategies and changed everything in his work life, and obviously this has resulted in higher bonuses and pay raises. You're next. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of Job Domination right now. 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880. Job domination. That's what you need. It's time for you to dominate the job market and break through the rut that you're in.
Helping you get a grip on your priorities and your focus. The Dani Johnson Show. Here's Dani Johnson.
It's easy to be an ungrateful dork. It is. And it shows in your performance at work. It shows in your performance at house. Listen, I was just finishing telling you a story of all the times where I was that person that just had ungratefulness inside of my heart. And what comes out is complaining. And here I'm cooking dinner and slaving away. And what is it? Thanks, Mom, for dinner? That wasn't worth all the work that I did. Man, when you get your head in that kind of a place, you don't realize the reality that it wasn't just you that made that food. So many other people that it takes to even provide for the food, right? But listen, we're talking about that, the power of gratitude, the power of how it sets you up for success. It sets you up for great relationship. It sets you up for promotions. It sets you up for referrals if you are in sales and you're writing thank you cards to the people that are doing business with you, or even the people that even took the time to look at your product or service and let's say didn't buy. Send those people thank you cards. It causes you to stand out of the crowd. It reminds them of who you are. And man, it says something about your character. It says, man, I like that person. Why? Because when you thank people, you make them feel awesome. When you don't sincerely thank people, they have a different opinion about you. It says you're an entitled, spoiled, rotten brat is what it says. And that's pretty much how most people are, unfortunately, in today's world. So how has being grateful, being a person that has that heart of thanksgiving impacted your life? Has it impacted your finances? Has it impacted your relationships? I want to hear your story. Or having people around you that are ungrateful, or times that you were ungrateful, and how did that hurt your earning power? How did that hurt the relationships at home and at work? 844-200-3264. Again, that's 844-200-3264. So we're going to line 6. We've got Mike from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Dani, thanks for having me. So my story, it still blows my mind away after it happened, but I had learned about thank you cards at your first steps to success, and it wasn't really until creating Dynasty that I really felt what the power of a thank you can really do for you. Mm-hmm. So after that, I wanted to attend First Steps to Success, but I was running out of vacation days. And so, I prayed about it, and God told me just to ask my boss to let me go without taking vacation. And he agreed, very, 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 he didn't really sound like he agreed, but he did. And after the event, I really enjoyed it. It was very impactful for me, and I wrote him a thank you card, a handwritten thank you card, and I left it on his desk. And what it did for him was just so profound. He was so gracious. A guy who had been working for the company for over 20 years and never been given a thank you card, let alone by his own employees.
Wow.
And it had such a profound impact on him that the next time I was going to attend First Steps to Success, which was in California, and I live in Florida, he not only allowed me to go without taking vacation, but he allowed me to leave a day early so I wouldn't have to be impacted by the time.
Wow.
And I can tell you that on his desk now, he has both of the thank you cards sitting there that I wrote because it means that much to him. So I can't tell you how much a simple thank you can mean so much to somebody else when you do it.
And it brings favor into your life. That boss sees you differently today. Now think about how many times we've asked a favor from our boss and we've never written them a thank you card. Think about it. Think about how many times. Well, first of all, what about getting hired? What about the job itself? I've told thousands upon thousands of people as I've coached them on how to succeed in their workplace that when was the last time you wrote a thank you card to your boss? And if you are a boss, when was the last time you wrote a thank you card to your staff, different individuals that are on there? What about a handwritten birthday card, right? Are you even remembering the birthdays of your people? Now, obviously, depending on the size of your staff, that can be rather challenging, as it is for me. However, I position myself, I put it in my calendar to take aside time to write out handwritten thank you cards, birthday cards, all of those things. And so it gives you favor. Just as what we just heard about Mike in Florida, that, wow, the guy for 20 years, his boss for 20 years has never gotten a thank you card from anybody at work. So you got to know that, Mike now has his boss in his corner. And again, they do things for us. People do things for us all the time, and we don't even recognize it. It's like overlooked. And so, look, now Mike has favor. And that the next time he asks, he's been granted his requests because he's shown himself to be appreciative. And I'm telling you right now, all of us love to be appreciated. All of us love to work with people that are appreciative. We all do. It makes us feel awesome. We like to be around those positive-minded people. All of us do. But what does positive-minded people look like? It is in the form of a thank you card. That shows kindness. That shows sincerity. That shows that you took away time and put some thought to what you were doing, not some thank you email. Again, email is a burden on the vast majority of us. Don't burden people with a thank you email, but most definitely handwrite a card, and you'll be amazed at where it will take you. Mike, thanks so much for sharing that story. I'm so grateful that, first of all, you followed directions at First Steps to Success when I was talking about the power of writing out a thank you card, especially to your boss, and how that begins to build relationship, and it shows a certain kind of character trait in you that will get you promoted. It will get you raises. It'll put you in the right light and have you stand out from everybody else. And that's exactly what this has done. So that's exciting. Thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to do that. Okay, so we also have Christy on line 1 from Alberta, Canada. Welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you today?
Good.
Thank you. I am so amazed at this. I mean, I'm grateful all the time, but I really, 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 really started to show it more, to people around me every day. The world would just be such an amazing place if everyone just showed this kindness, being grateful, be thankful. Someone holds the door open for you, just say thank you, smile at them. And I've, been so consistent on this, and it makes me feel so good inside.
Doesn't it?
And, oh my God, it's so amazing. I just tingle right now talking about it. And I write I have a gratitude journal now, and I write in it. And I honestly could write for hours. There's so many things to be grateful for. And when you start to show it and give it to people, it makes you feel so amazing.
I know.
And I just wish everyone could do this.
I know. You know what, Christy, which is so profound, is that showing gratitude actually changes our attitude.
It does.
Isn't that a trip? So that's like this extra side benefit. So it's not only how it makes you look to other people, but it literally is like a confidence deposit inside of our internal self-confidence bank. And so when I don't think that we can be overly grateful. I don't.
No.
I really don't. I think that it changes how we feel about ourselves. And a lot of people feel bad about themselves. They really do. They feel really, really bad about themselves. They get all kinds of insecurities. And I got to tell you, the thing that helps to defeat insecurities and negative attitude and complaining is simply just getting grateful. I got to tell you the story, Christy. This will really bless you.
Yeah.
Years ago, okay, at our conference, First Steps to Success, I had met a woman from Florida, and she had a gorgeous husband. She was like 7 or 8 inches taller than her husband. She was a beautiful woman, 50s, mid-50s, and her husband was also gorgeous. He looked like Kenny Rogers, Christy. Do you know who Kenny Rogers is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so he had that white beard and that white hair and those piercing blue eyes and that tan skin. I mean, he was a beautiful, beautiful man. And I then, after I had, she was at First Steps to Success, and I could tell there was just all this tension between them. And it ended up that she hired me for some business consulting. And I just happened to ask, about some stuff about her marriage and her husband and how her husband felt about, the business that she had and blah, 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 blah. And do you know that as soon as I asked these questions, she says, you know what, Dani, this is my, fourth husband, and I want a divorce. I'm like, what? Tell me why. I can't stand this man. I'm telling you, his very breath just disgusts me. Everything about this man makes me sick to my stomach. I cannot stand anything that he does. And then she just went off. And I said, you know what? We only have a 40-minute time slot for our consulting appointment. And you've paid a lot of money for these 40 minutes. So I'm going to stop you right here. I said, honey, your attitude has to change about this man. And this is where we're going to start, because it's this very same attitude that is causing you to lose money in your business. And this is the place that once we fix this, everything else is going to fix itself. So here's what you got to do. No, Dani, you don't understand. I have this other guy that he believes that God told him and his current wife that I am supposed to be his next wife. What? Look at how deceived this woman was. That she believes, and this is what this man and his wife met with her at a coffee shop and said, God told us that you are supposed to live with us and be the next wife in the household, meaning there were several wives. This is Dani Johnson. I'm going to tell you the rest of the story right after this.
You can't be the old person you used to be and the new person you want to become. Let go of the past and hang on for what's new and exciting and about to come into your life. Stay tuned to The Dani Johnson Show. There's more to come.
Hi, this is Dani Johnson. Whether you work from home or run a corporation, you need a strategy to get you from where you are now to where you want to be. It's especially true in marketing. I've seen so many companies dump so much money into promoting their products, but without a strategy, most of the money just goes right down the toilet. That's why I've been telling people about Vast Solutions. They've put together a team of some of the best minds in web design, social media, SEO, online and offline marketing, as well as advertising. Together, they will help your company build a comprehensive marketing strategy that not only covers all the bases, but is tailored to your unique needs. Quit throwing money at your marketing. Contact Vast Solutions at 312-330-5105 and start building a real marketing strategy that works. That's 312-330-5105 or visit 3eincrease.com. Again, that's 3, the letter E, increase.com. Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. The most common question I get usually are from people who are trying to juggle their life. They've got kids who are involved in all kinds of activities. They've got business or their job, finances, trying to get out of debt, plus all their church activities and all the volunteer activities. And they're pulling their hair out going, how do I juggle this all? Man, I once lived just like that until I learned Time Secrets. Time Secrets showed me how to be able to cut my hours from 100 hours a week that I was working down to 20 hours a week and tripled my income as a direct result with what I learned. Time Secrets also showed me how to get my priorities in order, which healed up my marriage. And I became a mother that I was proud of versus becoming the mother I didn't want to be. And so if you feel like your world is running around in all kinds of different circles, you can fix that. Call 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880 for Time Secrets.
Helping you get a grip on your priorities and your focus. The Dani Johnson Show. Here's Dani Johnson.
Could you imagine somebody coming to you and saying, God told me, wait a minute, you're married, okay? You're married. Let's say you're the wife. You're married. And another couple comes to you and says, God told us that you are supposed to be our next wife. They already have several wives in the house, and they want you to be the next wife. That's exactly what had happened to one of my clients. And my client out of Florida had gotten herself so deceived that she actually believed this was the will of God. I'm sitting there on the phone going, really? Like, people actually believe this kind of stuff? Okay, so hold on. She had complained herself into hating her husband, who was a gorgeous man who looked just like Kenny Rogers. Okay, he looked just like Kenny Rogers. He was a shorter version of Kenny Rogers. And her business was failing. She couldn't get it to grow. And I quickly, as I saw her complaining about her husband, and then she tells me this story, I realized this is a character issue. And the reason why your business isn't growing is because of this attitude that you have. Because let me tell you something. If you're ungrateful about your spouse, that spills over into your finances. It spills over into your staff. It spills over into whatever your business is, your job, your career. It spills over everywhere. Somebody that is constantly complaining, someone that is negative, somebody that is ungrateful about everything, wherever you have that attitude, it crosses over. It has no boundaries. Ungratefulness has no boundaries. It is going to pollute every area of your life. So the very first thing that I worked on her was this. I said, we're going to start a thankful journal. And we're going to start a Sprouts journal. I'm not going to go into what a Sprouts journal is. We'll talk about that another time. But let's talk about this thankful journal. What I want you to do every night before you go to bed and every morning when you wake up is I want you to make me a list of 5 to 10 things that you are thankful for about your husband. That's where we're going to start because that is the biggest chokehold in your life. This is where the door is open for all the negativity that is spilling over into your finances, spilling over into your relationship with the people that you work with every day. So this is the choke point. This is the choke hold. So let's start here. And I want you to work on journaling every day, twice a day, morning and at night. First thing in the morning when you wake up, you pull up your journal, you turn the page, and you write down 10 things that you are thankful for concerning your husband. And that night, you turn the page, you write down 10 more things that you are grateful about your husband. Okay, you are not going to believe this. It healed their marriage. It healed their marriage. So then I see the two of them a couple months later at a First Steps to Success. And they were all over each other. All over each other. They were like they were teenagers or like they were newlyweds. And then she'd come up to me and she says, Dani, I am so grateful for that exercise that you told me to do. I've been doing it every morning and every night. I've been making a list of things that I am thankful for about my husband. And now we cannot keep our hands off of each other. And not only that, my business has turned around. I have gotten off of my antidepressants. I no longer am this negative, nagging wife. But man, I can't believe, Dani, that I actually believed that other couple who said that I was supposed to be the next wife. I would have never been happy with that. I cannot believe how powerful this exercise has been in my life. Look at that. She goes, and I have such a good husband. I almost lost this guy. I was chasing him out of my house. I cannot believe that I almost did that. I'm telling you, friend, if we could focus, I agree with what Christy said in that last segment. If everybody could do this, the world would be a better place. Yes, I understand. We'd be in heaven. But unfortunately, people are not. But what we can do is we can set the example. We can set the example by being somebody that is grateful to others. Any little thing that we can say thank you for. We should pause, look somebody in the eyes and say, man, thank you so much for doing that. Come on, how many times have we had somebody open a door for us, hold a door open for us, and we're like, hey, thanks. That's not Thanksgiving. That is where it is appropriate. Hand on their shoulder. Thank you so much. That was really kind of you. That like goes through somebody's body. It makes them feel good. And it makes you feel good by being sincerely grateful. It fills your account. Yes, your confidence account. It fills it. You need confidence today? Start a thankful journey. You need more self-esteem. You want to feel more worthy. You want to feel like you want to build your self-worth. Humble yourself is how you build your self-worth. Humble yourself is how you build your value. Humble yourself by saying thank you sincerely. Writing thank you cards. Yeah, that's how you will build self-esteem and self-confidence, by humbling yourself and becoming very, very grateful to all of those that are all around you. It's so easy to complain, isn't it? You know it is. It's so easy, right? Okay, you might have times where your spouse is working overtime a lot. You might have times where, your spouse is really stressed out. It's tax time, right? And they're burning the midnight oil, right? And you're like, he was late for dinner, or, she forgot the dry cleaning. And you know what I'm saying? How we can just, I hate it when she gets in these modes, or I hate it when he does that. So easy to do that. I've done it. You've done it. It does not make it better. It makes it worse. You feel bad about yourself. You feel bad about the other person. But if instead of reacting to the midnight oil being burned, and instead of them having to put those extra hours in, like I said, because it's tax time or whatever the issue is, right? Instead of just stewing over it, that other person needs to hear thank you. Thank you for working so hard. Thank you for working so hard and being so committed to our family to make sure that you're doing it right. Thank you for all the extra that you're doing to take care of all of us. I miss you, but I'm really, really grateful for what you're doing. I got to tell you, I was in this situation last night. Just last night. I just came home from a trip, and my husband is working his tail off with tax returns and corporate taxes and all of this stuff, and he's auditing a bunch of stuff, and he's been working a lot. In our last conversation before he was going to be picking me up, so it was like before I got on a flight, he says, Dani, I'm still not done. I'm going to have to work tonight after I pick you up from the airport. After we have dinner, I'm going to have to work tonight. And right away, man, the very first knee-jerk reaction that came into me was like, he has no boundaries. Why can't he just stick to the schedule? Doesn't he know how much I miss him? Right away, man, that's the voice that started going off in my head. So wrong. So wrong. And then I happened to be in the middle of a book that was talking about this right here, what I'm talking to you about. And right there, it showed a complaining, nagging broad of a wife who had to change her attitude, and that when her husband was working late all the time, that she saw it from a different perspective, and that she thanked him for all that he was doing, and that's what made him want to work less. So I got so convicted. I'm telling you, it's like God, it is almost like, he turned the page, or that right instantly he wrote that. Do you know what I'm saying? What are the odds? I opened my iPad, the book is on there. What are the odds that message was right there? I know some angel wrote that right there just for me, no question. I'm kind of thankful for that. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Hey, have you done a favor for your best friend yet? Then do it now. Share this program with them. The Dani Johnson Show, helping people just like you make life more enjoyable and rewarding. The Dani Johnson Show.
But I'm so blessed that I found what is in Grooming the Next Generation for Success. This is a book that is being taught in universities around the world. It's been noted as the best book on parenting that has ever been written. Crazy, if you ask me. But the point is that this thing gets results. Get your copy today, 888-757-8880. Again, that's 888-757-8880, or go to DaniJohnson.com. That's DANI Johnson.com. Get your copy today.
The Dani Johnson Show is here to help you,
We want to see your economy thrive.
helping you focus and set your priorities.
And you can do this by learning the skill sets, the strategies, and the mindsets of 2% of the population.
The Dani Johnson Show. Listen closely.
What are your weaknesses? What are your greatest strengths? And what are your weaknesses?
Learn how to make the most out of your strengths in this life and how to grow in the direction that is best for you and your family. This is The Dani Johnson Show.
Are you a sourpuss, negative Nelly, complaining brat to live with? I certainly can be sometimes. It's terrible. This is like a main thing that I am working on this year. Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. Welcome to hour 2 of the Dani Johnson Show. We just finished our first hour talking about the 2 magical words that open up a vast amount of treasure for you. It is something that kids know how to use. It is something that is so elementary, so simple that most people do not use these 2 beautiful words that open up so much blessing over your life. And those words are thank you. Yeah, thank you. It builds your confidence. So there I was yesterday afternoon, and I'm on a plane and I'm talking to my husband and confirming that he's picking me up, and he just tells me that he still wasn't done with the tax thing and that he needed to work after he picked me up. Well, we haven't seen each other for about 4 days, and so right away I'm like, right? Gosh, it's so sad. So then I pick up this book that I'm reading, and it just happened to be talking about the same situation of being a nagging, you know what I want to say, nagging broad that's complaining, oh gosh, and that to be thankful. So when he picked me up, you're not going to believe this. This is really miraculous, honestly. When he picked me up, I had a big smile, whereas I'm telling you in times past, I have failed to have the right attitude. It's terrible to tell you, but you know me, man. I'm transparent. I'm going to tell you about what my faults are. It just so happens I had one pointed out to me yesterday. So here I chose to put on a smile. I think he was expecting me to have a frown. I think he was expecting me to be mad, as I had been many times in the past when he said that he was going to work after he picked me up, after we hadn't seen each other for 4 days. But instead I smiled, and he says, how are you? And I said, I'm better now that my body's touching yours. He's like, that is so nice. I go, how are you? Thank you so much for everything you're doing. Thank you for working so hard for our family. Thank you so much for being so detailed with those tax returns. Thank you for all of your commitment and everything that you're doing for all of us right now. I really, really appreciate it. And he just melted. He melted. Do you know what ended up happening? We didn't even go home that night. We had a 4-hour-long dinner date. Yep. That resulted in a hotel room. An hour away from home, because that's where the airport is. And we stayed the night. And we left that hotel room about 6:30 this morning and drove home and got ourselves busy for about our day. Complaining and being ungrateful and not seeing the other side and all the hard work that somebody is putting in makes you be someone that they want to avoid. I could have ruined my night by simply having the wrong attitude. I am so grateful to my God. I had 2 books in my purse. One book that I had read most of the time, it was a spiritual book about a Hebrew thing. And I felt God tell me, don't read that on the next flight, on the last flight. I want you to read this. I'll tell you what the book is because I think you should get it. Here's a free advertisement for Dr. Laura. It's The Proper Care and Feeding of Husbands. Oh, I'm getting smacked left and right with this book. Oh, I don't like her sometimes. But she's really good. Really, really good. A lot of truth that's been in that book, and it's helping me recalibrate to having the right kind of attitude that I should be having, and it's making me much more attractive to my husband. So there you have it. All right, so negative Nelly, complaining Carl, condemning Candace. That's who I used to be. And sometimes, every once in a while, I fall off the wagon of gratefulness. It makes me feel bad about myself, and it makes me feel bad about everybody else. So what's your story? Do you have a story like that? 844-200-3264. How does it make you feel when people are not grateful? Does it motivate you to want to be better, or does it make you want to stay away? 844-200-3264. How has gratitude changed your life? This is Dani Johnson. We've got Tracy from New Zealand. Tracy, thank you so much for joining us today all the way from New Zealand. What do you have to say about our topic today?
Oh, Dani, I can talk to you about gratitude too. My ungrateful self and how that took me to a place of ending up as a single mom, flat broke, no home. And I had a blessing from a friend who said, come live with me for 5 weeks. So I packed up my bags, had full trust and faith, and went and lived under a roof. And I was there, and I was feeling ashamed, and I was feeling embarrassed. It was awful. But I stood outside one day, and I was cleaning their pool. And God said to me, stop looking at what you don't have and look at what you do have. And I realized in that moment how I'd been blessed with a roof over my head and food on my table. And from that moment, I started to share with them about you. And I shared with them about GEMS, and I shared with them about war on debt and how I was working through that in myself. I shared with them about my emotional competence that I teach people. And together, I ended up staying there for 5 months. We absolutely turned that family around. When I first met Liz, she had said to me, if you can fix my husband, fix my kids, and fill my bank account, then I'd be happy. I said to her, I can't do any of those things, but I can help you turn your life around. Wow. And so together we turned each other's lives around.
Wow.
So I am so grateful for life. Yeah. So grateful. And I was so ungrateful. Yes. Such a spoiled brat, being given everything through my life. And, God had to take me to the road of virtually nothing to wake me up.
And so much pain. Really, Tracy, so much pain, right? And look at that. Look at how when somebody opened up their door to you and said, you can come and stay with us because you're now homeless with kids, now you were grateful for the roof over your head, but were not grateful for the roof that was provided over your head when you were married. Isn't that wild?
I know, crazy, hey? Absolutely crazy.
It really is crazy that even something like that, we're not even grateful for the roof over our heads. And you know what? If mom and dad both are working, mom and dad are both helping to provide for the roof over the head, the cars that we're driving, the food that's on the table, isn't it so crazy, Tracy, how we want to be thanked for our part in providing the roof over the head, the food on the table, but we don't want to thank our partner for what he or she is doing, their part to provide, to help provide for those things. I've been guilty of that. I have. I've been that way before, right? I worked 20 hours a week, and Hans worked full-time building various different businesses. And gosh, from time to time, I would only look at the work I was doing and how hard I was working and what I was providing and how much money I was bringing to the table. So wrong. And feeling that I'm being taken advantage of and I'm not even being thanked for all that I do by the kids or by Hans. How pathetic. And were they thanking me? Yes, they were. But when you have a heart like mine was, where I wasn't grateful for anything, I wasn't recognizing the part he was doing to help contribute, you'd actually have closed yourself off from receiving the words thank you. It's like your ears become deaf. I became deaf to the gratitude in which was being shown to me. Like, that ain't nothing and that ain't worth it. Like I was talking about earlier in the show, I'm slaving over this dinner, making this for everybody. And, in 2 seconds is thanks, Mom, for dinner. That doesn't add up to all the work and suffering that I put into this meal. Why? Because I had become so hard in my heart. And I was so ungrateful. I had such a deficit and such bad character in that moment that if anyone showed gratitude, I couldn't receive it. Because a hardened heart won't receive love. It won't receive appreciation. It will reject compliments and encouragement. And that's at different moments in my life where I had become, and again, just even just last night, listen to me, friend. There I was, right away, my knee-jerk reaction. I can't even believe we haven't seen each other for 4 days, and he says he's gonna have to work later. Really? Look at me feeling sorry for myself. How pathetic. How childish. How ridiculous. Instead of seeing the other side, gosh, look at all he's doing. And then he ended up bagging it anyway. And spending the whole night with me. Out of town. It was fun. I'm not going to go into details, but I think you can use your imagination. Tracy, thank you so much for calling all the way out from New Zealand to share what gratitude has done in your life and how it's changed your life, put a roof over your head, and now you're helping other people to change their lives too with something as simple as gratitude. I love it. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, we've got Eileen from Kansas City, Missouri. Welcome to the show.
Well, I used to be depressed, grumpy, ungrateful, and I complained all the time. But after I shifted my thinking and started becoming more grateful, then all that's changed. I don't feel depressed hardly ever.
Isn't that wild?
The grumpiness is the grumpiness is gone, and I still have to work at being thankful sometimes. But even with God, I'm sad to say, there were so many times He has been so good to me, and there were so many times that I didn't even tell Him thank you.
Yeah.
And He, of all people,
yes,
should be thanked and praised.
Yes. You know what, Eileen? I want to speak into that. I'm so glad you brought that up. It brings tears to my eyes. Do you have children?
No, I don't.
You don't? Okay. Well, let's say that there is someone really, really special in your life that you really love. And you spent time thinking, how could I really bless this person? What could I do to really show this person how much I love them? And so you spent a lot of time really thinking that through and listening with a tuned in ear, really finding what was going to make this person feel so good. You went through all the trouble of doing it. You saved the money. You bought the item. You wrapped it so very special, right? I mean, just everything you did was just over the top special. You handed it to the person and they went, oh, thanks.
Yes.
How apt are you to go through that process again for that same individual?
Exactly.
Right? And do you know that revelation, everything I just painted for you, God gave me that revelation that's how I treated him.
Wow.
Gosh. I bawled my eyes out. I bawled. I thought, oh my gosh. He's like, don't you know how much I love you and all the gymnastics I go through every single day to open a Walmart front row parking spot? I did that for you. And I just ignored it. Or all the other special things. And I just ignored it. Oh man, I bawled like a baby and said, oh Father, please forgive me. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
The Dani Johnson Show. No excuses, no blaming, just real life. Stay tuned for more of The Dani Johnson Show.
For families in Santa Pancha, Nicaragua, life is filled with fear and struggle. They don't have enough food for their kids, clean water is hard to find, and they're living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel on top of mining tunnels that could explode and sink at any moment. But a miracle is in the making, and you can be a part of transforming this village. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha to see how you can help. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org, and click on Santa Pancha. This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom. Your family's freedom is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play, and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel.
Giving you the playbook to design your life. This is The Dani Johnson Show. And now, here's Dani.
People who are ungrateful actually have to work harder for the money they earn. It's the truth. And they actually have less financial security. I am not kidding you. This is the absolute truth, right? Before the last break, I was talking about a story, a picture that was given to me. And the story of someone that really puts a lot of time and effort in creating a gift for somebody, and they really put a lot of thought and effort into it, and then the person, you give it to the person goes, oh, thanks. They thought nothing of it. They move on to what the next gift is. And God had shown me that that's how I treated him. He moves the heavens and the earth to make his will come to pass. He loves so much that he sent his son to die on a cross to cover my filthy, wicked sins. And here, I was totally ungrateful. You know, little things like, you know, at the grocery store, you get in the front parking spot. You get to walk less when you're trucking 4 little kids with you. You know what I mean? Or favor with somebody giving me an extra discount. Or, gosh, being in the right place at the right time. All these little things that happen, and I just let them be like water on a duck's back. It didn't even faze me. And when he showed me that that's how I was treating him, I just broke. And do you know that I was also depressed during that time? I was actually looking on getting on antidepressants at that time in my life. I was taking all kinds of different herbs. I had to go to the doctor. I had run my body just completely ragged. And all because I was totally ungrateful. Ungrateful for the food that was being provided for, as though I was the one that grew it, as though I was the one that put the stars and the moon and the sun in the sky, that I somehow was the one that caused the heavens to rain upon those fields, that those farmers that took the risk and had their farms and then had to get the food to the store. I mean, that I just took everything for granted. Was such an ungrateful little stinking brat. And it was costing me my life. It hurt my income, completely hurt my income. In fact, it took me to a place where I wasn't earning anything for 4 years. I didn't make any money, and that was after making millions of dollars. Yeah, we spent it all, and then we were broke, and then I had no income. Why? I wasn't grateful for the income that we'd made. I spent it all. I didn't treat it with respect or honor. I was an idiot financially. And living paycheck to paycheck, right? By the way, if it's $1,000 a week or it's $100,000 a week, when you spend all you make, you're ungrateful. Ungrateful. There's no respect there. So we are talking about gratitude today. And what does it feel like to not be thanked when people are ungrateful about you? And how has gratitude or thanksgiving played a beautiful part in your life? Meaning it's blessed you. It's made a difference in your life, right? So call right now, 844-200-3264. Again, that's 844-200-3264. Jay from Los Angeles, California. How has gratitude or learning that skill of thanksgiving improved your life?
Hey, Dani.
Hi.
Can you hear me? Okay, cool. Being grateful in my life, I just feel like it's brought more opportunity to me. I actually grew up in New York City, and I don't know, I just kind of grew up with really with the spirit of materialism, and I was like addicted to shopping and stuff, and didn't appreciate all the stuff that I had.
Yeah.
And after moving from New York out on my own, kind of went through some rough periods, which really made me appreciate basically I have lost a lot of things that I had and wasn't making as much income, and it kind of forced me to take a step back and really just appreciate what I had, even though it wasn't as much as I was accustomed to.
Yep. It's amazing that when we lose something, we did not appreciate. And by the way, that is typically the reason why we lose things. I'm not talking about I lost my keys. I'm talking about we lose a job, we lose an income, we lose a spouse, we lose a child, we lose a relationship, we lose opportunity. It's usually that when we've lost something, if we have any bit of a sober mind at all, we wished we had not lost it. We wished that we had been grateful when we did have it. And so somebody that's got the right heart, that is that person that can recover for something like that. The wrong heart gets more and more and more beat down and feels worse about themselves. So Jay, we got to take a quick break. I want to hear the rest of your story, how gratitude has played a part in what has happened in your life since you had that wake-up call. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Whatever hurt, pain, trial, or situation you are fighting or fighting through, you've come to the right place. You are not alone. Stay tuned for more of The Dani Johnson Show.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success.
This is The Dani Johnson Show. And now, here's Dani.
Do you remember in 2008 when everybody was losing their jobs left and right? Do you remember that? Right? You know, all the people that were complaining that they weren't making enough and they hated their boss and they hated their job, and then like millions of people lost their jobs. I pretty much could tell you that a lot of those people were like, I would do anything for that income I was complaining about before. I would do anything to be able to have a job. I don't care if Bob is my boss this time. I don't care. It's incredible that sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes we need that spanking to have what we are complaining about that we're not grateful for taken away from us before we go back and go, oh gosh, please, will you ever give me another chance again? Joining me today is Jay from Los Angeles, who was just sharing that that's where he found himself. Yeah, loss of an income, then found an income was much less, and he had to learn how to readjust his attitude. And Jay, I'm excited to hear, what was the result? What did you change, and now where are you today because of that change?
So a couple things one of the main things that I changed was just kind of the way I looked at things. So I looked at the experience of having so much and then going through a phase where I had so little as really like a humbling experience, from God for sure.
Yeah.
Since then, I've just gotten so much better at appreciating every little thing. I wake up every day and look around and appreciate the little things, and just to be alive, and that, he breathed, a breath into my lungs this morning, and ever since, just kind of changing the way I view things and not getting caught up on all the materialistic stuff and appreciating stuff that I do have.
Yeah.
I just noticed definitely more opportunities coming to me, and I don't know, everybody around me is always asking like how you remain so positive, and they come to me for advice, which has also helped me on with my home business as well. So much has improved since then.
That's amazing. And it's so true. Now, when you look back at who the man you were when you lived in New York and you were just all caught up in the materialism and, you're throwing away money like it was hot, and were you grateful then? Or did you take those things for granted?
Not at all. Mm-hmm. I took everything for granted, yeah. I was a guy with 50 pairs of sneakers, like a ton of jackets, like just any, ton of accessories, just wasting money. I didn't have any appreciation for anything that I had.
Wow. Isn't that crazy? Like you had all that stuff and you were not satisfied, and now you have less and you're like totally satisfied.
So true.
I know. And we think it's stuff. The more stuff we'll have, we'll be more satisfied, and we keep buying it and it doesn't satisfy us. And so, ungratefulness is the key to depression. But the key to a positive life and opportunities, because it's true, we love to bless people that are grateful. None of us like to bless somebody that is ungrateful. None. I'm going to say it big, giant, capital, bold, highlighted, spotlighted. None of us like to bless someone that is ungrateful. None of us. So if you're ungrateful at work right now, listening to the show, that ain't the way to get a raise. It ain't the way to get promoted. Complaining about your job, complaining about the work, complaining about this, that, and the other thing. Sorry. Those that are really grateful and are happy to be there and thankful that they have the opportunity, those are the people that prosper. Period. End of story. I'm telling you that, you know what, we kind of need to do this show like once a week. I'm serious. We really do. Because if there is something that we need a reminder of, it is to be thankful. To thank a lot of people, to thank your God, to thank your spouse, to thank your kids, or like anyone that's contributing something in your life. That's a really big deal. Often when I talk to my kids, especially like, for example, I was on a trip. So, I called and talked to them on the phone, the last two that are in the house. But anyway, I want them to talk more to me. So I go, thank you so much for taking time to talk to me. It really, really, really blesses me. I love hearing your voice. I love hearing what you have to say. And that makes them feel good, right? Versus just taking it for granted. You're my kid. You have to talk to me. Oh, no, they don't. No, they don't. All right, we're talking about the power of gratitude, how it's impacting your life, or the power of that stinking, bad, ungrateful attitude. What has it cost you in your life? 844-200-3264. Again, that's 844-200-3264. We've got Keisha on line 6. Keisha, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, Dani. How are you?
Good.
That's good. Well, I want to say that I had called you probably like a couple of months ago. We were talking about if your job offered you some money to leave. I think it was a segment on that.
Yeah.
Would you take it? And you gave me some advice. So I came in, changing my whole attitude about my job. Was thankful about having a job.
Yes.
And it really, really made me feel so much better and be productive.
Yeah.
Just being thankful for being here and the opportunity and the chance to be with the company. Yeah. And it really changed my perspective on all of that. Mm-hmm. Now I'm dealing with something where I'm like, okay, how do I remain thankful in a situation where I'm looking to be laid off. They don't know what to do with me yet.
Well, let me ask you this, Keisha. Hold on one second. Hold on. I know exactly where to direct you on this one. Tell me, being fearful and negative. Okay, so let's say you were the boss, okay?
Okay.
All right. And now Keisha went from grateful to negative, complaining. Tell me, what is being negative and complaining do to your production?
It goes down.
Mm-hmm. Which means you're the first one on that layoff list.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. They can't wait to see you go if that's what happens. Okay. But what do you think is the best alternative for them to fight for you to stay?
To continue to be thankful?
No way. No way. Yes.
But this is the thing. I'm like, okay, it's kind of mixed because I'm like, well, you hear things when it's always layoffs, right?
Girlfriend, I'm going to stop you. You aren't giving me some lame excuse. I am trying to show you, A, how to keep the job, or B, how they will recommend you to another company. But if you are like most people who turn into a jerk because you heard the bad news and now you're not producing, now you're sucking the air out of the office. See, what it is when you hear bad news, it's a test. It's a test. Let me give you a prime example. I don't know why I want to go here on this, but it's really important. One of the ways that we would test our kids to see if they had the maturity to do what they asked to do was by saying no. Okay, so here's an example. Erica asks if she can go to a dance, okay? And if we say no, and her attitude is like, gosh, controlling parents, well, then she absolutely didn't have the maturity to go to the dance. But if her attitude was, thank you, I appreciate that you would at least consider me going, and I'm grateful that for whatever the reason is that you said no, I trust your judgment. Thank you for being my parents. Whoo! You want to talk about, that would very quickly make us go, I think we should probably let her go. It's all in their attitude, and that's exactly how it is with the staff. So we see it all the time. Anyone that's ever been in management before, and whenever somebody has given notice, they give a 2-week notice and they're going to move on to another job, they already left the day they gave the 2-week notice. They're already gone. And we know it. Yeah, their head is checked out. They're not doing their work anymore. They're not meeting deadlines. They don't have a good attitude anymore. They're gone. And we much rather go, get out of here. Get out of here. See ya.
Right.
Okay? So you can't be that person. You haven't lost your job. But you can guarantee that you will lose your job based on your attitude and your production. So you could either set yourself up to keep that job and they will fight to keep you. They will fight to keep you. They will find a place to put you. They will train you up in a different place. Or if you really make an impact and you're positive, because I guarantee you're not the only one that was told that you're going to perhaps be laid off. You're not the only one. A whole bunch of other people were also told the same thing. And so when they've been told the same thing, I guarantee you 99% of those people have now deserved to be fired and laid off and not have that job. So you cannot lose with the strategy I'm giving you. You come on, you just told me that it helped you to keep your job, that it improved your production. So now you show them what you're really made of. You're going to walk by faith and not by sight. Do you hear me? You're going to walk by faith and not by sight. And you're going to give them more honor, and you're going to give them more respect, and you're going to do an even better job. And it doesn't matter if you're laid off or not, because those people will recommend you. And now when you submit an application someplace else, you reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. And when that reference is called and that person is called as your reference, come on now, girlfriend, what do you want them to say about you? That even in a stressful time, and even if knowing that she's going to be laid off, this woman had better increased production. She had a even greater attitude than the great attitude she already had. She really impressed us with her leadership and her positive attitude that really helped us get through this really, really hard time. Let me flip a side for you. The person had to sit you down and tell you that perhaps there'd be layoffs. Do you think that they felt good about that? No! They felt terrible about having to have that conversation. They might have even lost sleep, stressed out, chewed off their fingernails because they didn't want to give that bad news. Put yourself in their shoes and you show them that you love them no matter what. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
No matter what you think, feel, or imagine, if you want to make things right in your own life, you have to focus and believe. Stay tuned for helpful advice on life and more on The Dani Johnson Show.
Call now, 888-757-8880. I'm going to send you our report on how to feed your family on $100 a week. Get this hot thing in your hand now and you can begin to save hundreds of dollars just on your food bill. No clipping coupons, no way. I'm talking about simple little things that still, even my position, I'm still able to feed my family on $100 a week or less. You are going to learn how to do the same thing. 888-757-8880. Call now. Get your copy of this report.
We're back. Here's Dani Johnson.
If something bad is on the horizon, being negative doesn't fix it. Like a layoff that you've gotten wind of. And if all of a sudden your attitude goes in the toilet, this is not going to save you from the layoff. Not only that, but it's also going to give you a bad reference. Yeah, when you go out there to try to find another job, listen, we reap what we sow. We reap what we sow. And an attitude that is thankful and is gracious and is grateful, those people always win. They do. Come on, if you and I looked in our lives and we were honest with ourselves, the times where we've battled with depression, the times where we've gained weight, the times where our marriage stunk, the times where our business stunk, is when we were ungrateful. Really. The times where we had headaches all the time, come on. It was during those times, I promise you there's a common denominator. And what was it? We were unthankful. We were totally ungrateful. We had a bad attitude and we lost our way by one day looking at what wasn't right and complaining. And complaining will get more complaining. And the complaints get bigger and they grow and then they infiltrate the other parts of your life. That's how it goes. So if you're already down that road and everything is already just a giant mess, about face, baby, and start becoming thankful. There's nothing to be thankful for. You're alive, fool. I wish I wasn't. I'm sure there's a few other people in your life that wish you wasn't too. Come on, give me a break. You're breathing. Your legs are moving. You want to know something that I took for granted my whole life? Do you want to know? Was that my legs worked until the day I couldn't use them anymore. Yeah, I was paralyzed in a wheelchair. For 2 months, I was paralyzed. And did I ever thank God that I had legs that could walk? That I had legs that could run? Did I ever even
had that hit my head? Nope, until the day I lost them. And then when I was healed, February 7th of 2009, oh, I'm telling you, friend, that, oh, thank you that I have legs, I can walk, I have no pain in my back, my spine is now straight. Gosh, when I was paralyzed in that wheelchair, I looked at all the years I spent complaining about my back. So many years. And what did I do about it? Oh, I would have done anything, my friend. I would have done anything to have the back pain again, but please let my legs walk. But sometimes it takes losing. Sometimes that's what it takes. Losing it. Losing something in order for us to have the right attitude of being grateful. So, how do you show gratitude? How can you use it in your life? It will get you a promotion in your job. It will spare you perhaps from a layoff. It will definitely get you a reference. It could definitely, if you have a business, give you referrals. Being truly, sincerely thankful causes people to want to be around you. It's actually imparting some good confidence into that person. And it's actually imparting good confidence into you as well. So you got to try that on for size. We got line 6. We've got Liz from New Zealand. This is the second New Zealander that has called in today. Liz, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, Dani. How are you?
Very good. Thanks for being here.
Good. I've been brought up as a Christian for all my life, and in a Christian family. I wasn't really that grateful to be able to be realizing how blessed I have been and being able to be brought up and having God by my side. So I've lost, along the way of growing up and life happening, I really wasn't so grateful for knowing that he is in my presence all the time, and how really blessed I have been from the beginning of the day I was born until today, and how he's walked by my side all the time. And through thick and thin, where there used to be times that I thought that he left me. Yeah. But a couple of years ago, I realized, and I met a wonderful friend of mine, Tracy, that helped me how to deal with the emotions of being stuck where I am. Mm-hmm. That brought me so much closer to God. Yep. And realizing the power that I have within myself to be able to deal with fear, rejection, guilt, shame, anger. Yep. And having to love more and be grateful for every single thing around me every day, which means my husband, my family, my children, every single thing that I have. I know and I feel gratitude now. I never used to feel gratitude.
Isn't that amazing how we can pollute our own lives with our unthankful attitude? We can pollute it. It pulls away opportunity. It pollutes our relationships. It brings more pain. It brings more suffering when we're ungrateful. It says something about who you are when you don't say thank you. When somebody has done something nice for you, or the fact that, well, first of all, if you're ungrateful, you can't even see the nice things that people are doing for you every single day. You can't even see them. All you see is who's not doing what you want them to do. That's all you can see. And not recognizing that there's so much to be thankful for. And you know what? I love what Liz said. Thank you so much, Liz, for calling all the way from New Zealand, by the way. That's really amazing to me. When you come to that place of realizing, wow, God is with me. He is for me and not against me. That's the truth. That's what his word says. He is with me. He is for me. How powerful. And we don't thank him for his presence walking with us every day. We don't thank him for his word, his guidance, his owner's manual that he wrote for us today. Could you imagine what if you were born in a time where there were no printing presses? You wouldn't have this incredible manual to teach you how to succeed financially, how to grow a business, how to have a good marriage, how to solve major problems, how to suffer well with the right attitude in the suffering so that the suffering might be a little less or not as long, or that your life would be used as a testimony in that suffering. We can so easily just take advantage of not only humans that are in our life, but also take advantage of our God.
So I hope today's program has helped you at least get a little bit more grateful. And you might want to do what I suggested to that client all the way back in 2005, which was start a thankful journal. And wherever the choke point is in your life where you're the most negative about, you can turn that situation around simply by becoming grateful and writing morning and nighttime. And if you invite the presence of our God, the presence of the Holy Spirit to help show you what to be thankful for, I'm telling you, you're going to have the fruit of the Holy Spirit in you, which is love, more love. Do you need love? You need not a human love. You need God's love in you so that you could love your spouse, because sometimes you want to hate them, okay? You need God's love in you. You need his mercy, his grace. You need his kindness. You need his gentleness. That's all fruit of the Holy Spirit. You need his ability to suffer and to do it with faith. Listen, we all are going to go through sufferings, but our attitude determines how much more suffering that we're going to endure. So anyway, morning and night, it'll change your attitude. It'll get you promoted. It'll bring opportunity to you. This is Dani Johnson. Thanks so much for joining us today. We'll talk to you tomorrow. God bless. Bye-bye.
We want to thank you for listening to The Dani Johnson Show. We hope you found inspiration, answers, and hope to renew your happiness in life and learned how to make the most of today and tomorrow. Join us again on the next Dani Johnson Show.
I remember being homeless and broken in every way, and being overloaded with financial pressure, the pressure that I was a failure, the social pressure, everything that I felt like was crashing down on top of me. And at the same time, I felt so alone until I learned the strategies of first steps to success. You have the chance, my friend, to annihilate all of your debt. Think about that. You have the chance to grow your income through your current career, or even learning to start a brand new business that will be profitable. You also have the chance for learning how to motivate the people that are in your life that are driving you crazy, and how to have significant breakthrough, not only spiritually, but physically, financially, and socially, and business-wise. And so I'm excited to see you at First Steps to Success. It's coming up January 17th through the 19th. Get yourself registered today, 888-757-8880. There's a seat with your name on it, friend. 888-757-8880.